Hello and welcome back to Ben Plays Chex Quest. I'm going to be playing Chex Quest 2 this time around, doing 5 more missions in the second episode of the Chex Quest saga, and in the 6th episode of this Compelled Cooperation saga. So, without further ado, I'm going to start a new game. Terror in Chex City is the title for Chex Quest 2. It is set back on the Chex home planet. The first Chex Quest was Rescue on Bezoik, where I had to rescue a bunch of serial people that were trapped within Phlegm. So now I come home and find that in my absence, everything is ruined. And I'm going to do it on Extreme Ooze, also known as Ultra-Violent in Doom. And this is a game I've only ever played once. So it's not completely blind, but it's definitely not something I know as well as the first Chex Quest. Now this Chex Quest was also developed by Digital Cafe, which is the original development company behind the other Chex Quest. This came out the same year as the original Chex Quest. Hey, it's a non-slimed person who was hanging out with Phlegmoids, associating with the enemy. Shame on him. Yes, Supercharged Breakfast. Yay, Zerch Pack. So, I get very excited at the silliest little things. The names of some of the stuff is just funny for me. Namely the Supercharged Breakfast, I really enjoy that. But anyway, this game was made by the original developers, the same year that the original game came out. The reason being, Chex Quest became hugely popular, and sales of Chex cereal went up like 300% or something crazy like that. At least sales in the quarter that Chex Quest was included. So they decided, well, we have something that was way more popular than we were planning on having otherwise, or than we were originally planning on releasing. So we're going to take advantage of that by creating a sequel. And instead of just releasing it in cereal boxes again, which they could have done, they decided that there was this thing called the World Wide Web. And they had a website set up, and they wanted to drive traffic to that website. So Chex Quest 2, this game, was created by the original developers on an even tighter budget and production schedule than the first one. You can see that there's a lot more gray textures and everything is kind of boring. It's not really complex level design, a lot of just boxes and boring stuff. That's not good. You can see that's a new Phlegmoid design from the first game. A different Phlegmoid design than from the first game. Same with the weird little worm thing that attacked me earlier. There you go, that took care of that. It was created a lot faster and a lot more cheaply than the first one, and released for free on ChexQuest.com to drive traffic there. And they announced plans for a sequel to this one, Chex Quest 3, but it was eventually canceled, and the website eventually went away, and ultimately what ended up happening was fans reloaded. Not reloaded. Fans re-uploaded. I'm running around here with Zorchers here, so I'm confused with my terminology. Oh. That's interesting. Fans uploaded the files for Chex Quest 2 and Chex Quest 1 to various Doom WAD sites. I forget what WAD stands for, but basically WADs are the level files in Doom. And so, people uploaded the Chex Quest files to these various different sites, so people could still find and play Chex Quest in an unofficial capacity. And it wasn't until the Chex Quest 3 re-release that Charles Jacoby and actually two of the other guys too, who had some involvement, not as heavily as he did. He shouldered most of the burden himself. But I think one of the programmers as well. Yeah, so it's Charles Jacoby, Scott Holman, who's the programmer. Charles Jacoby was the art director and lead artist, and in many ways the level designer. He would sketch out levels. And the sound design guy, Andrew Benson, also contributed some songs to Chex Quest 3. So they had some original people returning, even though it was completely unofficial. It wasn't until that was released in this trilogy pack, if you will, that there was a convenient place to find it all online in a semi-official capacity. Although, as I said before, this isn't really official, it's just kind of quasi-official. Since technically all the rights to Chex Quest... Oh, I've been here before. Technically all the rights to Chex Quest already still exist with Chex cereal, even though Digital Cafe has long since closed / been bought out by a subsidiary, or is now a subsidiary of another advertising company. Chex obviously still owns Chex brand, but I'll talk more about that in the next episode, and I'll see how I did here. That's actually not too horrible. Well, I'll see you next episode.